In today's live stream video, I'm going to discuss with my guest how you can improve sales in your eBay store. She'll share her tips and strategies to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. When I have a live stream, I usually interview another reseller and I have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. So if you're interested in reselling, then you are in the right place. I'm going to pop in a chat and say hello to a few people, and then I shall bring in my guest on. I saw Glenn Swamppicker was in the chat. Randy's in the chat. Thank you, sir. Rita's in the chat. Appreciate you all being here. So I'm sure the chat will be filling in shortly. So let me bring my guest on. Most of you probably know who my guest, but I'll have her introduce herself, and we shall get started. Hello, hello.
Hey, Adam. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us tonight, Beth.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
In the chat. How are you? Glenn, Rita, and Randy, hi. And Michelle, hi. My name is Beth. My channel is Reseller Rowboat. I have been reselling on eBay since 2017. I am a wife, a mother of 2, a granddaughter to 4, and getting ready to be a granddaughter to 5. I don't know what else to tell you. I have a full-time job, and this is my side hustle.
You really hustle too. You are hustling.
I'm glad to be back with you, Adam. I was checking today. The last time I was on was a year ago.
Yeah, Beth says I wasn't on your show recently. I said I think it's been a while, Beth.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was 8 months, but it was a year ago.
Okay, great. So guys, like I said, basically what I try to do is, bring Randy, who's in the chat. Randy shares his experience in years and years of being a reseller and running businesses. And I try to bring on some other resellers on. And again, everyone does things a little bit differently. So take what you can from their business and try to apply it to your business if you can. If you can't, fine. But I mean, usually you can take a little bits and pieces and apply them in the business. But you guys know I always shouting out Beth on my chat. I just think she runs a tremendous business. She's always changing and adapting and trying to improve her business. So I'm always happy when I got Beth on. So we shall get started. Okay. All right, Beth. So like I said, you had talked about how you I'm sorry. Let's just remind the people what e-commerce platforms you're on. I know you're on a couple of different e-commerce.
I'm on eBay is the majority, and Poshmark, and I just this past weekend cross-listed 150 items to Mercari, which I know will come a shock to my subscribers because I've gone for 2 years. Haven't made a sale yet since the weekend. I posted them on the weekend, but we'll see.
That was one of my questions. We'll ask further along. I want to touch on that as far as cross-listing and if you use any kind of sharing program with Poshmark, but I wanted to get into, like I call it, the meat and potatoes of the show, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so one of the things you told me about on our pre-chat was how you run your inventory systems, and you like to call it, you have processes set up. So you call it an inventory stations you set up. So why don't you tell people a little bit about that and how you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I call them stations. They're not labeled or anything, but I have basically 7 stations. My trunk of my car is the first station, so that's where everything is from the thrift store. Then I detag them, okay, and sometimes I do those on air, so people get to see the first chance if they want to buy them while I'm detagging. Then they go in the wash, and then there's a station of things that need to be measured, and I have inventory sheets that I fill out. So there's my inventory sheet. If anybody needs one, I will be glad to email it to you and you can make it your own. Then after that, they are hung up, where you'll see some things right here are hung up right now. That means they've been measured and the sheet has been filled out. I like to get at least 30 items hung up for photographing. So those are waiting to be photographed. Once they're photographed, then that's another station basically. They're ready to be drafted. And then once they're drafted, they're put in my shopping cart and they're ready to be put away. So it's like an assembly line. And what I like about it is when I get up in the morning, if I'm supposed to be photographing, but I don't feel like photographing, I have all these other stations I can go to and I have work to do. Because reselling can get kind of boring, especially when you're selling the same things like I do over and over again. So if I just don't feel like photographing today, I can leave that and go work on something else. There's always something they're ready to do.
Well, like I said, you're always adapting your business. You know, back in the day, you were doing a lot of clothes, and you're also doing appliance parts.
Right.
And you kind of like got rid of all the appliance parts, and you're what, probably 99% clothing now, I would say?
100%.
100% clothing now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you don't have any hard goods at all in your store?
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
one thing.
Not one thing. Okay. That is a big change.
Yeah, it is. I changed it was 2 years ago this coming June that I switched up completely to clothing. I switched mainly because of my storage situation. I'm in 1.5 parts of the garage. The other 1/4 of the garage is the washer dryer area. And also because I have arthritis and just dealing with all the big pieces, the cardboard boxes, the tape and all that, the ease of it. That's when I really decided to switch to clothing, make it easy on myself. And also I was having difficulty sourcing after the pandemic. I was having trouble finding the appliances at a good price. I was finding myself going to 8 or 9 stores a day, which I don't have time for with a full-time job. So I have a great sourcing opportunity right now for clothing. So I was like, why don't I just take advantage of this now? Later on down the line, I may, when we move especially, I may go back to appliance parts because I really did like it.
Yeah, that was a bombshell. I wasn't aware that you were moving. You're moving.
When we retire.
Oh, when you retire, you're going to move. Okay.
We'll move to the hill country. That's where I was basically doing a lot of my sourcing for appliance parts, and I'm not there much anymore. And in this area, there's just not enough. I was driving myself crazy, driving around and around from store to store looking for appliances. It was crazy. I was like, this is just not worth my time. I can just go to this one place, my honey hole, once a week, get everything I need and come home. I'm only sourced 2.5 hours a week. I get over 100 items. It's easy.
And at low cost too.
At low cost. Yeah. And it doesn't take, I can get my, one shelf of juice mixers, and all that I can get a lot of clothing on that one shelf. I make a whole lot more money,
I just want to remind people in the chat, make sure you're nice because Santa Claus is here. You don't want to be naughty.
Oh my gosh, Barry, have your
Santa Claus is in the house.
Later, I promise you I'll call you back.
So those of you that don't know, Thrifty Santa is in the house, Mr. Barry. So Barry,
Beth from another mother. Hey, Lisa.
Barry, I'll probably be reaching out to you because Beth said I should.
A rural squirrel. Is it Kristen?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Kristen.
I didn't want to talk over you. I'm sorry.
No, I was talking over you.
Okay. Okay, Barry. So anyway, best suggestion I should have you on. So maybe in a month or so. I want to get you before you get into your Santa Claus season, before you get really busy. And Barry, get those toys listed. Beth was telling me you got to get those toys listed.
I'm a true sister. I'm on his case all the time. Yeah, we had one of my subscribers really thought Barry was my real brother.
Beth was saying that, yeah. Why don't you touch a little bit just on, I know, like I said, always compliment you on how organized you on. Why don't you just give us like a short version of how you organize your inventory? I know you've been following the series that Randy and I are doing, how Randy has his inventory organized. But just tell us maybe a few tips and things and how you organize your inventory.
Not being able to take you out there, it's maybe a little bit difficult, but let me just... I happen to have a couple of items here.
Great.
So about, I guess, 1.5 years ago, I started seeing that I was making mistakes. Getting older, my eyes are, really difficult to see things and stuff like that. So I decided to label my items by pattern. So all my floral items together, my paisley, my tie-dye, and so forth. And also, like for my jeans, I have straight leg section, boot cut, skinny. And so what I do is I copy and paste the title from my eBay title onto my Rolo and print it out. And each item has its own label. It's blown up really well so that I can see it. And then I even double check it when I send it out to make sure I'm sending the right item to the person. Okay, so now this happens to be a sweater that really doesn't fit in any category. So it's just going to go in sweaters. I keep my sweaters in tubs because they're so big that they take up too much room in the boxes. But since I started labeling them by pattern, when I take this big shopping cart out there, I just like put all the floral together in a thing and all the paisley, and I just take it all to that section. So I'm not having to run back and forth from shelf to shelf to shelf. And it takes, putting them away so much faster. I can't do numbers like A1A, A1B. I can't do that.
Okay.
I was making too many errors.
I was
So
going to ask you about that. Yeah, because it
I
sounds
can
like you're
actually
grouping
pick up
by type.
I pick up a top and I can see it's got flowers on it. And I automatically know without looking at the label that it's going to go in the floral area. So I already know I'm just going to take it over there, and it's saved me so much time and hassle. And if I lose something, I only have to go through a few boxes because I know it's going to be in the floral section. But if it's, 1, 2, 3 or whatever, I've got 3,200 items listed.
Ooh.
I can't go through 3,200 items to look for something that I've misfiled.
So you can go through 50 or 60 items instead of like 1,000.
And so far, I have not lost one item by doing it this way.
Knock on wood. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't aware you went away from the A1, A2. I didn't realize you.
That's how I started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you found more successful doing that.
And I have them in boxes on these huge shelves, industrial shelves. And I was looking at Randy's video when y'all were showing his warehouse, and my shelves look very much like that. And they're 12.
So you have his own warehouse, or the commercial warehouse he has?
Well, it was those big industrial shelves.
Oh yeah, commercial.
That's
sure.
what I have, but I have them in boxes. They're double, one behind the other, and I'm very good to myself. I use my step stool if I need to get up high, so I don't want to fall, break a hip.
Don't need that.
Even though I know I could reach it without, I still do it. I'm trying to take care of myself, and so.
Yeah, definitely don't want that.
I also keep an Excel sheet of all my items, and every day I go through one section and I inventory to make sure things are listed. So far, today's Thursday. So far this week, I found about 5 items that are no longer listed on eBay for one reason or another. When I get an order that, because I know a lot of people say it happens when an order is canceled and it doesn't get relisted. So what I do is, if someone cancels an order, I don't have them relist it. I click on it and I relist it myself, and then I know it gets relisted. So
now, Randy and I had brought up on the series that we're doing about periodically doing inventory. Do you have a system? I know you have all kind of systems. Do you have some kind of system where you periodically inventory certain areas or certain?
Yeah, right now I'm on the animal print section.
Okay.
So every day I'm doing 4 boxes from the animal print section. And then when I finish that, then I go to the floral section and I'll do that. And, then I just put a note in the Excel sheet, what month, when I inventoried it last. I just go in order. And I'm really excited because I haven't ever I just started this a year and a half ago, and I'm just now getting to the items that are in my new system. So it's really kind of exciting to get to these things and see if any of this stuff is supposed to be there, if it's there. And it's not. For some reason, some of these items are slipping through the cracks, right? Hey, Kim,
that was my question for you. Are you finding things that listed that shouldn't be listed, or things that have dropped off your listings that should be listed?
I have no way of knowing if they're listed and I don't have them. I would have to print my inventory out for that, and I can't do that.
You don't do that, okay?
So I only have things that I have, but they're not listed anymore. Gotcha. So every once in a while, I'll sell something on Poshmark and I don't have it because I accidentally forgot to take it off. But very rarely do I not have it on eBay. It happens, and I always give them a big, humongous coupon, and that usually takes care of it. They don't get upset with me. So.
Oh, so that's how you handle that then? Okay.
Yeah, I just say, hey, there's a glitch here. It sold months ago. I don't know how it happened, and it's very frustrating to me as well. Hey, here's a coupon. Come back and you get this, this huge discount, and no one's ever gotten angry. So
I don't want to jinx you, but if you were to have something that was out of stock that sold on eBay, how would you handle that?
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Sold on
Poshmark. I thought you
eBay.
said Poshmark or something. Okay.
Some things have sold on eBay twice,
Okay.
and I have no idea why. Like, how does that happen? It didn't sell
Yeah.
on Poshmark, and those are the only two platforms I have.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even if it's sold on Poshmark, it would show up as a sold on Poshmark, and it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't show up anywhere. And it's not in my Excel sheet anymore, which means I took it off because it's
Right.
sold.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
So, yeah, I have to be careful about things like that.
Absolutely. We don't want to call it clickbait too often. might jinx ourselves.
Yeah, Kimmy's been over here. She's seen my inventory system. It's changing, Kimmy, and I got a lot of stuff for you. You need to get over here, girl. I got a lot of stuff you need to come over and get.
There you go. Get your stuff, Kimmy. Get over there and get that stuff. Okay. We talked, pre-chat about how you run your business and some of the things you're doing to increase your sales. Why don't you first, I guess, explain how you're doing your markdown sales? You said you call it your car lot approach.
Yeah, it's funny because when I knew I was coming on today, when I was going to the vet, I thought, you know what? I don't want to talk about the same thing over and over again. So I went back and listened to like the first 30 minutes of our last show, which was in April or May of last year. And I was amazed at how many things I was talking about that I don't do anymore. Like, I'm just like, I don't do them that way anymore. So my sales are down a little bit right now. And that's typical for me in April, but they're up from last year, so I don't really worry about it. But then I was on my way home, I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to go back to the way I was doing it when I was on Adam's show last year, So last year I was making a sale every day. I was scheduling a sale for the next day to create urgency. Like, I really believe when there's something's on sale and it says you have 5 more hours to get this price, that you have a better chance of getting a sale than if it says you have 45 days to get this price, So I was doing every single day. Well, a few months ago, my life just, it just went crazy with my dad's health and everything. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this every day. So I started scheduling for a week. My sale would run a week. Okay. And I did that until last week. And then last week I thought, well, everything is going so well. I'm just going to go ahead and extend it for a month. Now, that's when my sales started dropping.
Yeah.
Now, does that have something to do with why my sales are dropping? I don't know. I have no idea. But when I got back home, I ended all my sales and I'm going back to daily right now just to see if it will do anything. It may not, but it's not a huge change. Like I always tell you guys, if you're going to change something, don't make this humongous change. Make something that you can change back if it doesn't work, So we shall see if doing this. I mean, I noticed today that I'm getting a lot of hits. There's a lot of things that it says I can send offers on. When I came back from the vet, I had like 12 or 15 people. It said send offers. So maybe it did.
They filed.
I don't
12
know.
people filed things on your store.
But it could be a fluke. But whenever you run an experiment, I have friends that have run experiments for 2 years. Okay, I don't have that kind of patience. Like, I'm not going to wait 2 years to see if an experiment works, but I'll give it about a month. So I'm going to just wait till the end of the month and see, did it help me? I don't know. But yeah, I'm changing, I was doing every day I was ending my promoted listings at 3:00 and resetting them in 45 minutes. Lately, I've been kind of lazy just because of our life right now and just every once in a while ending it. Well, I may start just making sure every day at 3:00 I end them and start them again. They do get stale. I totally believe that. I shouldn't be waiting until my store gets slow to do these kinds of things, but
be proactive, basically.
Life has just been so crazy and I just had to do it, but
and when you're running your,
and then I also changed, I have my categories and they're by when they were listed. So I had 10, 20, 30, 50, and 75% off. That's 5 sales I was running. But they were going for a week, and then I extended them to a month. So when I came home today to do them daily, I'm like, I am not going to make 5 sales every day. I don't have time for that. So today I changed it to 10%. And then when it's been listed a year, it's 50% no best offer. And when it's been listed 2 years, it's 75% off best offer. and I only have 3 sales, and I only have 15 items in my 75% off store. I only have 15 items that have been here for 2 years. So that's not bad. And then next week in my planner, I think it says on Monday, I'm going to take those 15 items out of my store, reevaluate them. Do I really want to put them back up on a new listing? Were they a bad buy? Did they have a flaw? Did I get them in a wholesale box and I never would have bought them anyway? And usually it's usually about 12 or 15 items. And I usually discard about 5 and say, no, I don't want to put these up again. And I just run them back through, new photos, new everything. But yeah, I don't think 15 items for 2 years is that bad. Like I used to have like my parts. I had parts that were there for 5 years, you know? So I was telling Adam, I like to think of my garage or, my shelves like a parking lot, and each piece of clothing is a car. And I just want to get those cars parked, get them paid for, get them out of there, get more cars in their place, get those paid for, get them out. I want to just move my inventory 2 or 3 times a year and get as much money out of that as I can, and instead of letting them just sit there, and then I have no room to put anything else, because Kimmy will tell you, I'm very limited on space, Adam. I am.
Well, let's address Barry's question, and we'll come back to running the sales and the
okay.
discounts.
This is a very big misconception, but it's based on a fact. Years ago, if you ended items, if you wanted to get a new number, you had to sell similar. That is not the case anymore since 2 years ago, at least, because Dusty was still around when this change happened. Now you can just hit relist. They will change numbers, and you don't have to worry about going back and deleting them, which was the biggest plus, because it was hard to decide, well, did I relist these? Did I not? So every morning I go to the items that are getting ready to end the soonest. I end the 200 that are on the front page, and I hit relist, and they get relisted with a new number. And you can try it. Like Craig, Landshark Picker, and Dusty demonstrated on their show that night. They wrote the number down, they ended it, they relisted it, and it gave it a new number. So that was at least 2 years ago.
Right. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I do that every day. So when you were talking about cross-listing, that's why I can't cross-list, Adam, because if I cross-list with a program and say, hey, everything that's new in my store, cross-list it. Well, it was already there, but now it's under a new number. The cross-listing program is going to relist it, and now I've got 2 of all of those that I just relisted today. That's why I can't use a cross-listing software.
Oh, so you manually put things in the listings in stores?
I manually put things into Poshmark. That takes very little time.
Okay.
I am using, and we skipped this part, but I do have a program that it's called One Shop. It shares my Poshmark listings. It sends out offers, and it ends items after 30 days and relists them on Poshmark for me. But they also cross-list. They have a cross-listing part, and they will cross-list to Mercari. And I thought, well, why don't I put some of my graphic T-shirts over on Mercari? So I've been using that program to do that, but you got to do it one at a time. So it's almost easier just for me to do it manually. Like, it fills in most of it, but then there's other things like size. It doesn't even fill size in. It doesn't fill brand in. It doesn't, if I'm going to do all that, I might as well just zip it over there, paste it, and, So, I did 150 this weekend. So, but I have to be very careful, because if they were already listed on Mercari, and then I relisted them on eBay, and then I cross-posted them on Mercari, then I've got 2 of the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Does the system that you're using, the program you're using, is that a paid or is that a free version?
Yeah, it's $45 a month.
Okay.
I really balked at that at first, but when I first started using it, I made my $45 back in the first day.
Okay.
So like my sales have totally increased on Poshmark since I've been using it. And I don't have really time to give offers. And so when I get a sale on Poshmark, it usually says so-and-so accepted your offer. And I'm like, Well, that's awesome because I didn't send them an offer.
Yeah, the program
One
sent the
shop sent
offer.
them an offer, and
Yeah.
I set it how much I want them to send in the offer for,
Mhm.
and so I just don't have time to deal with Poshmark. And like I said, I've made lots of money on Poshmark since I think it started about 6 months ago on one shop. And if you watch my end of the month videos, you've seen that my Poshmark is increasing. So, and that's
Okay.
because of that.
How do you spell that? One, is it just
One
SHOP?
shop,
Okay, 2 words.
WONSHOP.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And that shares, that
It
sends
shares.
offers, and does it follow? If somebody follows your store?
Follow if you want it to follow. It also
Okay.
does Depop
Does Depop too?
and
Okay.
Mercari. I'm not on Depop, but it does do Depop. I noticed that.
Okay. And how long have you been using it?
About 8 months.
Okay. Okay.
And it was immediate noticeable, especially when I had it end my stale listings. You can set it, I have it set for 30 days. You can set it for 60 days, 90 days. Items that are, and that's really good on Mercari, but I don't think they do that. I don't think they do that on Mercari. That would be really good to do. Maybe they do. I don't know. I have to check that out. But listings get really stale on Mercari.
Do they?
And that was the problem I had with them before. They've just, if I listed them and then forgot about them, I didn't get any traction. But that's when I really started getting the sales, was when I said, anything listed on Poshmark for 30 days, end it and relist it. And that's when
So now that program is automatically doing that.
yeah, all day long, sharing,
Okay.
ending, relisting all day. I do nothing.
That's
It's
good.
awesome.
Now, is the pricing based on how many listings you have, or
No, it's
how's
just
it set up?
$45.
$45 flat from
Yeah, that's,
no matter
I
how
don't think
many.
it has anything to do with number or anything.
Okay, because I know everyone's system's a little bit different, so I was just curious.
Yeah, the one I was using before was $9.99 a month, and it was okay. I used it for many, many years, but it didn't send out offers. And that was the problem. That was what I was failing at, was sending out offers.
Gotcha.
Like, I just don't have time to sit there and figure out, who gets an offer, who's already had an offer. I was like, ugh.
Now, when you're running your sales, do you just like end them for like an hour or two, and then just
I end them for 2 hours.
2 hours? Okay.
Yeah, just get it all, all the stuff out of there, make sure it's all cleared out.
Now, have you experienced? I mean, when sometimes I guess like I basically what you were saying earlier, when I was in outside sales, used to call that the "you lose" close. In other words, like, oh, the sale's ending end of the month. You got to make sure if you need it, you better buy it now. So do you experience that? That when people were seeing that the sale is ending, that it kind of triggers more sales?
Well, that's why that's why I was always doing the daily sales. I
Right,
really feel like
gotcha.
it does,
Gotcha.
And in my case, when I have 3,200 listings, so I do end 200. So if they happen to click on one tomorrow, that I'm going to be ending the day after, they're going to lose out because they clicked on it, they watched it, and I got rid of it. And I relisted it, but it's under a different number, so it's not going to pop up in their watch list. So they really do need to grab it while they can. And
Yes.
I feel like in my business, if they want this tunic, they're not going to wait 30 days to buy it. Like, I go into my things that I've watched and they're still coming up and I don't want to buy them. I just hit watch and I never go back. Like, I don't go back. It's like, I want it then, or,
I know you're very organized. You have a lot of systems in place. What about offers to watchers? Do you just send them periodically? Do you have a
all day
system in
long.
place? All day
All
long.
day long, I'm sending offers to watchers. I do 20% because that's my daily coupon. And I want to give them what they would get if they used my coupon. Because when I first started coupons, I was doing like 10%. And then people were getting mad at me because they're like, well, I could have gotten 20% off by using the coupon.
Oh, geez.
And you gave me 10%. So I figured that out real fast. Another thing I've been doing recently that I heard Chris Lynn talk about the other day is if I already know what my best offer accept price would be, I'm no longer putting best offer. I'm not doing auto accept anymore. If I list it for $29.99, that means my best offer accept would be $19.99. Instead of giving them 20% off, I go ahead and offer them the $19.99. Go ahead and offer what I would have accepted anyway. And sometimes that gets it sold faster. Been doing
Okay.
that also the last couple of days, and I've made some sales that way. So basically, they're getting a better deal than they would have if they used the 20% off, because they would have only gotten $6 off if they used the coupon, and they got like almost $10 off, you know, with my offer. So, and I'm not a big person on the fake sales. I think it's very deceiving. I've
Yeah.
never done it. I think consumers are not stupid. I mean, some of them are. Hey, some of them are. But if you're going to run a sale, upping your price to run a sale, I mean, they're going to pay for what they're going to pay what they want to pay, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah, that was the old, you know, we won't mention the person,
Uh,
but there was some of they used that very large reseller used to do that, mark things up like 25% and then
yeah.
mark them down
I mean,
25%. Yeah.
that's deceiving,
Yeah.
and I don't want to deceive. I don't want to do that. If it's not selling at $10, it's not going to sell at 12. Like,
Right.
it's just not. That's just in my business now. That's just in
Oh,
my
your
other.
experience. Yeah.
I don't sell other things, so maybe it works for other people, but they're only going to pay $10 for this top, then that's it.
Now, when you go to your like your bottom line, let's call it, you know, as far as you know, your best offer, is that, and then you're running sales. Now, do you determine that you're grouping sales? Like, say you have 200 items you're putting on sale. Is that based on how old the listing is, or regardless of the age of the listing, you just take what your
Well,
bottom
like
offer is?
right now, starting today, anything listed under a year is 10% off best offer.
Okay.
And then at a year, I've got it 50% off, no best offer. And then 2 years, 75% off. Now, yesterday, we were talking to me yesterday, it was 10% off for 4 months. And then it was 20% off until 6 months. And then it was 30% off until a year. It was 120, 30, 50, 75. Now that I'm going to be doing this daily sale thing, I don't want to run 5 sales every day. I don't
Yeah,
really want to sit here
it's
and set up 5 sales every day. So that's why I've done that. So yeah, 10% off for a year. That's probably not a good choice on my part. I don't know. Maybe I'll make some more money that way. I don't know, because I still got the best offers on. My prices aren't that high to begin with. So even if they offer me half, I'm going to make money, because I always make money on shipping. Always.
okay.
I charge
Well,
flat
that's the
rate
thing I bring
shipping,
up
so I
repeatedly,
always
and
come out ahead on the shipping.
I always bring that up, and again, guys, keep in mind, and the guys and ladies, keep in mind, we're basically getting 3 price increases a year now from USPS. I mean, you got to stay on top of that, and remember, on certain platforms such as eBay, you're paying fees on your shipping costs. So it's
Hmm.
on your final value fee. So if something costs you, make it easy, $10 in shipping, you might be paying $1.50 additional if you're paying 15%. And I was going to go back to that, and a good thing my ADD mind. We talked earlier about promoted listings. How do you? I know that's kind of like the $64,000 question. How do you determine what promoted listing to use? Do you use recommended? Do you use certain plus, or what's your
Right now, I'm
philosophy?
doing the automated, where I have it set for the highest that I would go, and then how it's like a certain number under or certain number over trending. So I have that set right now. It's been doing very well for me. I used to do 10% across the board, but then I realized some of my brands, their trending were like 16%. And I'm like, well, no wonder
So
they're
you're
not
over 30% if you're factoring the fees plus the
I'm
promoted
like,
listing plus
well, no
the.
wonder they're not selling. I'm putting 10% here and they're 16. So the eBay rep that called me one day, we talked, and she talked me into the automated, and I've been doing that for about 3 months, and I like it. I have taken it down a little bit just to see what it'll do. And yeah, who knows? That could be a reason why I haven't really. This week has not been a stellar week, but like I said, I'm making money, and I'm up higher than last year, so that's fine with me. Um, just not as high as last month, so I'm just trying a few things to see if I can. I always like to finish strong at the end of the month. Every month I need to finish strong. So we're almost to the 15th, so I'm trying to, finagle things around and see something else will happen. So, like I said, if you're making more than you're spending, you're doing okay. You just have to figure out how you're going to get there. And it's different for everybody.
I try to stay on top of it. Have you made a video? I wasn't familiar with the automated, promoted listing.
I don't think I've done a video on that. Maybe I need to write that down.
Okay. It's just a thought. because I'm not that familiar with it.
It's right under the bulk. I saw it forever, but I didn't know what it was, and so
me either.
I just tried it, and so far it's been fine. It just says, your cap, what's the most you'll pay, and then what's the most you'll pay up or down trending, and it just kind of adjusted according to the category of the item that they click on is what they do.
Okay, and you can set that up in the
some
in
of
the
my
bulk.
brands are like 7% is the trending, and then some of my brands are 16%, and I'm like, okay.
So you're over 30% when you factor in
more for the 7. I was doing 10, right? So I was paying way more than I needed to for the 7, and I wasn't paying enough to get to the 16. So this kind of adjusts that a little bit.
Everyone does things differently, and that's interesting. I mean, I'm not telling you to do a video, but it might, might be a good idea.
Yeah, try it. But
and I know you got your hands full.
I just click it. Like they don't tell you the listings or anything.
Maybe you can make a little short video, like a 3-minute video.
On my Sunday night shipping video, I'll try to remember to just bring up the screen. How's that?
There you go.
But I don't know. I always saw it was there, but I just never used it. I don't know.
Why don't we touch on, you were telling me how well you're doing now with repeat buyers. Why don't you tell us the tools you use, encourage that? You have buyers groups, newsletters, etc.
Okay, so I did some research, and in 2021, I sold 1,657 items, and I had 33 repeat buyers for the entire year. Okay. Last year, I sold 2,520 items, which is like 800 or 900 more. I had 132 repeat buyers last year compared to the 33 the year before.
Yeah.
And now for this year, I've sold 701 items and I have 31 repeat buyers. I love repeat buyers. Obviously, I've grown in my repeat buyers. They're what keep me going. They tell me what they want by what they buy. So before I go to the thrift store, I look and see what's sold the last 90 days, and that's what I go to restock. What do they like? What size? What brand? What style? I restock. I want them to come back over and over and over again. You have to understand that some of these repeat buyers on here, they've purchased from me 3 or 4 times, but they only get counted once, right?
Right.
So like I can have 8 sales and 5 will be repeat buyers. Like it's that amazing. What I love about them is that if you send them something with a flaw, they don't get upset because they've already bought from you in the past. Your quality has always been good. They're just like, oh, she missed a flaw.
Yeah, something. Okay. Yeah, things happen. She's a good person, good seller.
She'll come back.
She'll make it right. Yep.
Whereas a first-time buyer's like, well, this person's trying to rip me off and sell me crap, So I love my repeat buyers. And so since I've niched down, that's something that I've noticed is I have all these repeat buyers. I'm selling the same things over and over. In my packages, I put a coupon code and to thank them.
In your packages, why don't you just get a little bit into what's a package?
Yeah, like in my poly mailer.
Oh, in your mailer. Okay. And when you ship the order out. Okay. Gotcha.
When I ship my order out, it's in a little heart, 10 of hearts.
Oh, right? Beautiful. Okay.
So they get a business card, and on the back is, and thank you, Randy, is my QR code. And if the QR code doesn't work for some reason, it's got the, the number.
Right.
So they get 25% off. So that right there is trying to get them to come back. All right.
Yeah.
Then every day I send out more of these same coupons in my buyer groups. I usually send out about 12 because right now I'm listing 12. So I like numbers to match. So I'm listing 12 a day. I'm sending out 12 buyer group coupons a day. But when I send those out, I have this little blurb, and I call it my newsletter blurb, and it says all my policies. So when they come to my store, it's just like if you have an department store, if you're not a niche seller, guys, if you have an eBay store that sells all kinds of stuff, you have iPad cases and Instapots and vintage jerseys. It's a little bit harder to get repeat buyers because, they only were buying a cell phone case from you. But if you send them out something every day that shows what your policies are, they should come back to you. It's just like when you go in a department store, you go back because you like their customer service, you like their prices, you know what their return policy is, the place is clean. That's what you have to do. So I have this blurb and it tells them, here's my handling time, here's my return policy, we combine shipping, here's blah blah blah, here's how we do this. And so I send that every day in buyer groups and in newsletters. So they just get pretty much bombarded with this, reason to come back, And so, and then if you're not a niche seller, I would add to that, well, we don't only just sell electronics, we sell clothing, we sell, food, coffee, whatever, we sell everything. To let them know that, hey, I bought a cell phone case from them, but why would I go back to them? I bought a cell phone case. Well, let them know.
Yeah, Randy talks about doing that. Yeah.
It's just so important that once you get a policy set up that you stick with it. I will say, since my store grew, it's because in June of that year, I set my policies. Here's my policies, and I'm going to stick by them. And I've never changed those policies, never, since for a year and a half. And it's paid off, man. People come back. Maybe they tell their friends. I hope they tell their friends. I know when I go to a store and I like it, I tell my friend. I don't know if they tell their friends about online stores, but,
I even tell strangers sometimes, because with the price of groceries, we have a grocery chain that's basically a liquidator. And I tell people, you ever hear of this store? Ever hear of the grocery outlet? If anyone's familiar with grocery outlet, they have a lot of them in Oregon. But anyway, the other day I posted on my Instagram. I literally saved over $100. I spent like $30 and I saved $100. It's like, hey, groceries are expensive these days.
Mm-hmm.
So
I really like that they tell you now if somebody's a repeat buyer, because, and I'm starting to recognize names, especially people that have weird names. So if they give me some kind of funky, offer, and I recognize their name, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this offer because I know she's getting ready to buy 3 more tops. Like, it starts getting to be that almost personal. You see what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I know she's going to buy more than one item. Like, it just happens. So.
Now, setting up the newsletters and the buyer groups, is that relatively easy to do on eBay?
Yeah, and I've got videos on that.
Okay, you do videos on that.
I've done that ad nauseum. People are probably.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't watch every single video, and that's why I asked.
And if you need to know what video it is, I can link that to you. But yeah, I have share my.
And once if you think about it, I know you got you're juggling. Randy was talking about spinning plates. We were talking about the other day. Yeah. But once if you get a chance, post that in the comment section, maybe once the video uploads. But yeah, guys, just a reminder. I know some of you come and go, whatnot, but I do have Beth's YouTube channel linked in the description section. I also have her Linktree, which lists your store, a bunch of Instagram, a bunch of other things. So that's in the description. But I always make sure I do that. I appreciate people such as Beth coming on and teaching us, trying to help our business. I want to hopefully you guys can support her as well, and maybe check out her store, check out her Instagram, and you always can learn something from Miss Beth.
And you asked me about drafts, and I have 105 drafts right now. But that's including these items here that have not been photographed. And what I'll do is I'll probably measure another 20 and put them up there, and then I will photograph them. So right now I'm at 12 listings a day going live. eBay loves consistency.
Yes.
And if you were not able to see my show about Maggie Doodle in January, I did a review of her store. I gave her tips, and one of them was to list 3 items every day. She is killing it on eBay right now. Some days she makes more sales than I do, and she's listing 3. She's still listing 3.
Students outselling the teacher.
And she is killing it right now.
Good, Maggie. I hope you're watching the replay. You're not in the live chat. I hope you're
the consistency. And like I tell Maggie and all my subscribers, eBay gives you tools. They expect you to use them. So any of them you can possibly use them. Like I don't use all the tools. Like I don't do free shipping, but every single tool that you can possibly use it because it will push you higher up in the search. I truly believe that.
Cassini is I won't use the word, but it can be difficult.
Yeah.
Because Cassini, for those of you who don't know, is the eBay algorithm. So like I said, if you list consistently, and again, when you start selling things, even I'm talking with Randy, I'm trying to get involved now with selling replenishable goods, even if I only make a few dollars, but I get some activity in my store. I mean, because Cassini likes that, likes activity listings, sales.
I make a lot of my sales when I go to bed. So I ship at 9 p.m. every night, and I will have items like I have right now 3 that haven't paid. When I wake up in the morning, I will have sales. It's almost like every time I ship something, it kind of triggers something.
It triggers Sometimes the algorithm.
I think maybe I should ship during all during the day. I should just
yeah, different times of the day. Yeah.
But I can't with my life.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No.
So I ship at 9 o'clock every night, and inevitably I get up in the morning. And tomorrow's a day when I have to go into the office. So
you get up extra early if you have any shipping to do before you head to work.
I really don't want sales because that means I got to get up super early in the morning and do my sales. But it doesn't take that. The clothing is so easy. I don't have to put them in boxes.
And you already have everything pre-labeled, pre-packaged. You just put it in here, put your card in there, put your yep.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really take as long. Right. I mean, I used to wake my wife up at 5:30, 6 o'clock every morning with this tape gun, because I'm packing a pot, right? And she's in there trying
making all kind of noise. Yeah, sure.
She's half asleep, and she's like, "This is real irritating at this time of day, Beth." Yeah. And I'm like, "I have to ship it, So, yeah.
Okay, guys, were there any questions? Again, I really appreciate Beth coming on, and it's been a year, and it doesn't seem like it's been a year, but it's been a year since Beth came on. So if you guys have any questions, and obviously I want you to pop in Jet's chat, and while we're waiting to see if any questions come in the chat, guys, we don't have a lot of questions, so if people pop a question in the chat, we'll get Beth to answer them. Why don't you tell people a little bit about how you run your YouTube channel? I know you have Tag Talk, you have your shipping show.
Typically, I do a Sunday night shipping at 8 p.m. Central, where you see what's sold over the weekend. I ship, we talk. I usually have a topic I talk about before I ship. And then I usually do a haul. I do a live working hangout during the week, Wednesday or Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. I either do a haul video, or we're doing what's called Pick My Wardrobe. So I took every single thing out of my closet, my personal closet, and we're filling it back up. So they're helping me pick clothing. I model it on air, and they vote for an outfit. It's been a lot of fun. I've also been doing product reviews. So if there are things that I use in my business or my home life, I've been doing product reviews to let you know how I like them, and, sometimes demonstrating them. My last one was that Grandma's Secret Spot Remover.
You have your steamer that you use.
Yeah, I have more of those planned, but it's been difficult to film this week. So, but that's kind of what I'm doing right now. It's going to change again eventually, I know, but that's basically what I've been doing recently.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, I don't see any questions for Beth. If you do have it, just pop it in. In the meantime, I just want to remind you guys, if you can do me a favor, talking about the eBay algorithm, YouTube has an algorithm as well. So if you guys are pleased, you can consider, clicking on the like button and, following. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribing, and make sure you click on follow all videos. Like I said, we're going to try to do live streams. We're getting to the point now, it's probably going to be every other week. Randy and I are working on the series. If you haven't started watching that yet, please do so. The Reseller 12-step program. So I'm hoping within a week or so, Randy and I will have another, we may do a live stream, we may do a recorded video. We haven't decided yet, but keep that in mind. So we just check to see if there are any other
I was very
questions.
impressed with Randy's warehouse.
Randy has a very, very impressive business. He's been doing it for a lot of years. So, and it's a little bit of a hole, but, like I said, I'm going to try to get up to see Randy every few months. And Randy's trying to teach me how to get involved with liquidation. So I'm trying to learn how to do that as well. I know you love selling clothing. I'm trying to get, I'm going to sell some clothing when I'm trying to get more in the hard goods. So, okay, guys. So again, if you haven't smashed that like button, please do so. Like I said, guys, if you're getting value, please consider I have Buy Me Coffee, PayPal, Cash App, etc. And speaking of my friend Randy, there's also a link to Randy's website. You can check out how Randy sells things and lists things and things that we're talking about and how he tries to make his store presentable. There's a link in the description of the video as well for Randy's store. So again, I want to thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.
Thanks, Adam. It was fun.